Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies. And this is Knowledge from the Cosmic by F.W. Sherratt, an article from Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 35, Number 11, November 1957. Knowledge from the Cosmic by F.W. Sherratt of Cheshire, England. In 1909, I did not know that the cosmic is the source of all true knowledge, and I doubt whether many people at that time were realizing this deep truth. Certainly not the people among whom I moved. I was 20 years of age and a part-time student of applied science. It was about this time that the first speculations concerning a fourth dimension began to percolate from the philosophic levels of higher thought to the stratum of intelligence in which I had my being. To me, the fourth dimension was no more than a phrase, and yet I had a feeling that it meant something important. I knew no source of reference from which I could gather further information, and the fact that even the better informed people to whom I had access knew nothing more than I did about it only increased my desire for knowledge. For some years, I did not advance beyond the idea that the fourth dimension is a concept in higher mathematics. However, I continued to exercise my mind upon the idea, although it was to me a completely intractable problem. The lack of knowledge among laymen at this time is understandable when we read that it was only in November 1919 that a solemn meeting of the Royal Society of British Physicists and Astronomers, that the results achieved by the experimental verifications of Einstein's theory of relativity were made public. When this meeting took place, Einstein's concepts still seemed completely inaccessible to the man in the street. Indeed, the great physicist who presided at the meeting said, "I have to admit that until now no one has been able to state to me in simple words what Einstein's theory actually represents." Sometimes in 1919, I had a very vivid dream in which I saw several objects symbolizing ideas of distinctly different natures. I believe that in the dream there were at least 4 such symbols, but by morning my mind retained only 2 of them. The 2 that I retained definitely were: 1, a sheet of music; 2, the carved capital of an Ionic stone column. In the dream, the 4 or more objects represented 4 or more dissimilar ideas or phenomena. But although they were all as unlikely in relation as the music and the carved stone, my mind was conscious of a definite correlating link between them which made them, in some way, all one idea. Then there came to me a distinct message in the form of a definition. It was, the fourth dimension is that which relates all things to all other things. At once I became fully aware and made an effort to memorize the definition and the natures of the symbolic objects. By morning, however, the definition and only 2 of the objects were sufficiently defined to be recorded. I could not, in my dream, nor afterwards, express in words the nature of the correlating link, which had been quite comprehensible to me while I dreamed. During 1920, a university graduate with a science degree was appointed to work with me. I put the inevitable question to him regarding the fourth dimension. He knew nothing about it, but a few weeks later he remarked, "I have just brought a book which I think would interest you. It is about the fourth dimension." Of course I was interested, and he promised to lend me the book after he had read it himself. When he brought the book a few days later, I said, "Before you tell me anything about it, I will write down a definition, and I would like you to tell me whether or not it appears to apply." I wrote the definition and showed it to him. He read it and thought for a few moments. Before he said, "The book is very difficult reading and gives no short definition such as this, but as far as I am able to understand the subject, your definition could be correct." The book was the first English translation from the German of Albert Einstein's Special and General Theory of Relativity. I too found Einstein's theory difficult reading, and I could not come to any better conclusion than my colleague had done, namely that the definition could be correct. From my reading, I now knew that the fourth dimension was a concept contained in the theory of relativity, about which I had not previously heard. As the years passed, scientists labored to understand the theory and its implications. Much was said and written on the subject, but I was still without confirmation on the accuracy of my definition. Nevertheless, I came to feel that the definition was correct and possibly in advance of contemporary understanding. Then, in 1950, the late Professor Albert Einstein proclaimed his unified field theory. It is a series of equations which unify and combine the physical laws controlling the forces of energy, matter, light, gravitation, and the magnetic field. Such a coordination into one law of 5 apparently dissimilar phenomena left me in no doubt. Whatever that science had at least confirmed that the definition I received is really in accordance with natural law. This was 30 years after the information had been vouchsafed to me in a dream. I am now a member of the Rosicrucian order, and although a modest advancement, I know that if I had received the benefit of the Rosicrucian teachings in my younger days, I would have accepted gratefully and without question or hesitation the real knowledge which ultimately can come only from the cosmic. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.